Hello and welcome to the AI Daily Steward. Today we are going to be talking about the OECD AI government blueprint, and that's how you know I'm not an AI. So this is where the OECD comes into play. They have where they believe the 11 core functions of AI is going to land. High prevalence. It's a good day today. High prevalence, medium prevalence, and low prevalence. They believe the highest prevalence is going to be when it comes to AI governance inside municipalities, cities, is going to be public service delivery, justice administration, and civic participation. On the medium scale, it is public procurement, financial management, fighting corruption. I should just start this one over, but this makes me feel like I'm not an AI. So, and then the fourth and the medium prevalence is regulatory design. And then low prevalence is tax administration, which we'll get into in a second, which I thought was pretty interesting. Policy evaluation and civil service reform. So some things to think about why they're saying these high prevalence things like civic participation is much higher than tax administration, even though tax administration is all numbers. It gives you something to think about here. Adoption is driven by urgent transaction backlogs and low regulatory barriers. Tax administration is going to have significant high regulatory barriers to get in, whereas civic participation or public service delivery is not. Additionally, complex data rules stifle implementation in specialized sectors. So they're looking at what essentially is going to be picked up first. Technology and value profile. So this is quite interesting. So the first on the list of value is automation, streamlined and tailored internal process / services. AI is going to do a lot of that, but there's already SaaS products that do a lot of automation, but the next three I find to be very the best benefits for AI. One, foresight, better decision-making and forecasting. That is everything predictive is where AI is going to be or have the biggest impact. Accountability, anomaly and fraud detection. And access, unlocking new opportunities for external stakeholders. All three of these things are AI specific that is just going to help the value profile of any city. Government AI is currently driven by established machine learning and not emerging LLMs, but that is going to change with foresight, accountability, and access, in my opinion. The implementation barrier matrix. So kind of wrote something out here that is mapping specific hurdles to specific government functions. So as we talked about tax administration, it's got complex data laws, strict rules around tax data usage. And so it's going to take a longer time for AI tools to really find its way in, although it is probably going to have a big impact when it does. Public procurement. There is a regulatory void around public procurement. Lack of established rules around AI use is going to make it easier for AI companies to get in. However, that's not always going to be good. Public financial management. There is outdated tech unsuitable for AI in the public sector especially, and that is a big problem, how we get that data into AI so it can do its job. Across all functions, adoption is constrained by three universal friction points: financial cost, skill gaps, and difficulties sharing quality data. Janis Point, our sponsor, turn AI risk into defensible action. Janis Point is a Bloomberg-style decision platform. It's made for municipal AI governance. It brings together the most decision-relevant intelligence across policy, procurement, legal risk, peer city activity, and vendor oversight. It then turns that intelligence into practical workflows for due diligence, documentation, and performance tracking. The result is a clearer, more defensible way for city leaders to evaluate AI tools, manage risk, and of course, justify adoption. JanisPoint.com. The pilot trap. So this is what OECD, AI government blueprint, they created this critical failure point in government innovation. So you have input success of pilots. However, high-level strategies exist, but they lack concrete guidance, which is really what this podcast is about. If we don't have guidance or understand what we're doing, we're just going to keep throwing spaghetti against the wall. Some will stick, and some will create a really big mess for us. So they have, maybe they have some high-level strategies, but not much guidance. Then you have inability to demonstrate an ROI, insufficient monitoring and evaluation of mechanisms. Look, when you're in the public sector, these people are either voted in or put in these kind of cush jobs because they've been in public sector for 20 years or whatever the case may be. They are not AI-specific people. The cities will start to hire consultants like myself or city AI, chief AI operatives to specifically work with AI because, frankly, it's just kind of out of their sphere of what they know. Government AI initiatives remain trapped in the pilot phase, unable to scale into enterprise-wide infrastructure. And most of the time, it's because they don't have any governance behind it. And really, half the people don't want it anyway. The dual risk. So the next thing that they cover is this dual risk paradox, rethinking the calculus of bureaucratic risk aversion. The risk of action, so if you take action in the AI world, adopting AI without safeguards or really thinking through what could happen, is there going to be biased outcomes, systematic harm, maybe some rights infringement? You just have the risk of doing it. You just go ahead and take risks. If you don't take any action, your city is going to fall behind on many things, and quite frankly, then things are just going to happen to you. You become the hunted instead of the hunter when it comes to technology. And I don't know that that's any better. So you have this kind of paradox. When is the right time to take action? There's not any such thing as risk-free AI, but waiting for all unknowns to be resolved is equally as dangerous, I think is the final thought here. Just try to get as much information as you can. A big risk profile for municipalities is workforce displacement, replacing rather than augmenting civil servants. I was just talking to somebody that was Finnish, and I believe he said that almost half of their workforce is in the government space. That's an incredible amount, and a lot of the tools that we are going to have the ability to take away those jobs, but they don't have to. So if you haven't, go listen to my video on narratives and putting humans first. But it is a big fear, and that fear needs to be addressed. It is the elephant in the room, and it needs to be addressed by the mayor of the city, the governor, the leader of the business. You need to put people at ease here. Displacement is one of the biggest fears, especially in public sector. So how does the OECD, what is their resolution? Well, they have a three-piece chicken nuggets here. Unlocking benefits while mitigating risk requires a structural approach. So you have enablers, facilitating trustworthy adoption, empowering the system. Then you have guardrails. You have to have governance before you put this in. Guiding use and preventing systematic harm, and engagement, shaping user-centered responsive applications. User-centered responsive applications. Get people engaged with the tools. Have a plan on how to do that. I don't want to be a broken record here, but most studies on how to bring AI into government is you have to have governance first. Clear leadership structures leads to trustworthy adaptation or adoption. And if you don't have trustworthy adoption, people aren't going to use it, and it is going to be a nightmare for you politically. When it comes to safely bringing in AI tools and procurement, make sure that you have guidance and frameworks based on that particular tool, rules and policies, establishing hard boundaries before deployment of what is safe and what is not. Transparency mechanisms, ensuring explainability of automated decisions, and oversight bodies, advisory groups to guides, evaluate, audit. You need to know if it's working or not, and so you need to have oversight bodies. Going through these studies, study after study, it always ends on a positive. Many of these efforts are in their infancy. The time to build scalable and trustworthy public infrastructure is now. It should be now. It's why I'm so passionate about this particular topic. In conclusion, I want to say to my listeners, thank you for listening. Additionally, I know that this podcast was a little choppy, but frankly, I kept it because that is human. Sometimes we are not 100% on, and I want you to know that I am going to keep bringing you AI information, and I am a human doing it. Talk to you on the next episode.